From KPRC Channel 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Khambrel Marshall.
We see them all the time. Dangerous fires requiring firefighters oftentimes to rush in to put them out, at the very least fighting toxic smoke from the outside again and again. It's no wonder that the health risk from such a repeated process is quite high. Some reports suggesting a twofold underreporting of mesothelioma among firefighters. What can be done to make this already dangerous profession less dangerous for those putting their lives on the line? The Spring Fire Department may have the right plan to do what it can to reduce those risks. Here this morning, Spring Fire Department Chief Scott Seifert, good to see you this morning.
Morning.
And Senior Captain Matt Corso, good morning to both of you. Glad to see you here. How aware have both of you been that there might be some increased risks from firefighting related to cancer, for example?
Well, we've known cancer's been around forever, and you know, we really didn't think about it in the fire service till just the last few years.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And you know, it's now become a national initiative to really focus on the firefighters' cancer.
So when you were getting involved, Matt, and I'm assuming just because of the color of the hair that you've been in a little less time than you.
Yes, just a little.
So when you got involved, were you the same attitude, like let's just go, we want to fight fires and not worried about this other stuff?
Yes, sir. I was a 16-year-old kid and
started young.
I didn't know any different.
Okay, you got out there and you did it. Now, these days, because we know a little bit more about that, your department has instituted something called LifeScan. What is that all about and how's that process work?
So LifeScan is a company that does medical screenings, health screenings. Mm-hmm. It consists of 3 different things. It's a life consult, it's blood work, and then we actually do an ultrasound that goes from about the neck to your upper thigh. Mm-hmm. And they measure all your organs and they look for any deformities or you know, large or small, things like that.
Every firefighter?
Yes. Well, in our department, we've actually taken it a step further. We actually do all the firefighters, whether they're part-time, full-time, or volunteer, and we do our admin staff as well.
And you, Matt, I know you credit this test with maybe saving your life. How did that come about?
In 2016, when we started the physicals, I went in for my first one. Mm-hmm. I started with the ultrasound, and they found about a fist-sized mass in my abdomen. Mm-hmm. No symptoms, no health issues, nothing.
So you wouldn't have known anything about it had it not been for that?
My doctor speculated about 8 to 10 weeks away from feeling symptoms, and I would probably have beaten it, but the outcome would have been very different.
So that process now, after you came away from that, you're a living testimony then to that process.
Yes, sir.
You were talking earlier about one of the biggest issues after the fact. You've taken it again since then. The biggest issue a lot of times is not really wanting to know.
That morning, one of our deputy chiefs walked by and he said, "Oh, you doing your test today?" I said, "Yeah, sure, glad to know that you're making me do it." And he said, "Why?" I said, "I don't want to know."
Change of culture for the fire department as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've gotten a lot of positive results. In fact, in 2017, which was our second year to do it, we found others who were tested in 2016 that had no issues, that they did have issues in 2017. Mm-hmm. So it's affected our organization, and now we're trying to get the word out there to every firefighter in the world to let them know that they need to start a conversation in their department to have them be proactive and do this for all their firefighters.
Matt, as a result of what has happened with you and the positive results, your colleagues, what kind of feedback do you get from them, and how do you take a role in helping them understand how important it is for them to do this?
I've been reached by multiple people asking me, how did they find this? Mm-hmm. Including my oncologist. She was very surprised to see that my employer provided this. And so many people want to know, how can they get it done? How do I go about doing this? And it was given to me.
Yeah, so a gift, if you will. And you have other things as well, I understand. I was just intrigued by a sauna that you have there, that you have multiple bikes there. And it makes sense, really. It's a way to kind of purge toxins from the firefighters' bodies?
Yes, that's correct. In fact, we have one at one station, and after a fire, the crews go back in groups of 4, There's a stationary bike inside of the sauna. There's 4 of them. The crew goes in there. They're in there for 10 to 15 minutes, and they sweat the toxins out. And, you know, it's a medical grade sauna, so it's a dry sauna. But the results have been incredible, where we would normally smell smoke for 2 or 3 days after a fire as we take a shower and things like that. It's all gone within 10 to 15 minutes.
And I'm guessing too, by the way that the way you work with your equipment, I know a lot of times guys have equipment and they take it off and they put it back on. That's not the same way with you guys. Talk about the difference in how you work with your equipment at your station.
One of the parts of this initiative is to give everybody a second set of bunker gear. So if we respond to a fire, we take that gear off, we hose it down at the scene, we take it off, we bag it up, so it never enters the cab of the truck again. It's technically contaminated gear. When we get back to the station, we decontaminate it and put it in our gear washers. In the meantime, so we can continue to respond, they have a second set of gear to put on to continue to make runs.
All preventive kind of measures.
Yes, absolutely. They also use wipies to wipe the soot off of them, and so we don't want it to absorb in our skin. So we do everything we can to keep that from happening.
How many fire departments in this area are using this process? The sauna and the
so there's
life
probably
scan?
3 or 4 in the Gulf Coast region that's doing it, but it's becoming a lot more widespread.
And you'd love to see it.
I would love to see every fire department do what we're doing. It's made a huge impact.
Cost?
The wellness exam is about $500 per firefighter.
So the cost of that, so much better than the cost of trying to treat cancer.
Well, Matt says it best when he says that, you know, I'll let him say it, you know.
If they had to purchase a dress uniform to bury me, it would be more money than this test.
Amazing, amazing use of time and effort. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you for your service. Glad to know about your health status. And oh, by the way, he is way overachieved in the wife category. I'll just put that out there for everybody to know. Thank you both for being here. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, coming up, the organization that breaks barriers every day, preparing to honor those who devote their lives to doing the same. That's next when Houston Newsmakers continues.